What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? It's Matty P here with another episode in the Steelers War and podcast series. I'm not going to do any more intro. I'm going to get into it. This episode, it's all about Mike Tomlin, the lack of respect that he gets, the respect he should get, and this is exactly why the Steelers are going to win in 2023. Mike Tomlin does not get enough respect around the NFL. There are some fans that sit out there and say Mike Tomlin should be fired. Mike Tomlin hasn't won a Super Bowl since the 2010. They sit there and they say, I'm getting so fired up. I can't even articulate. They say that he hasn't won playoff games in years. We talk about how many seasons it is since the Steelers have gone deep into the playoffs. We talk about, it's rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett, and they were going to have a losing season last year, and until they managed to scrape them and finish 9-8. We talk about his perennial 8-8. Oh, there's all this narrative about, the Steelers, this is Steelers, that. And then suddenly, this year, it's like, everyone in Steelerland, we're all being focused on the fact how good the Steelers have gotten, how Omar Khan, the Khan artist, has changed this team. Then they're under the radar. Now, Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as head coach. People can go, he had cowards players. He has finished number one in the division 7 times out of 16. He has finished number 2 in the division 6 times out of 16. Mike Tomlin's only finished 3rd 3 times. How are they going to finish 4th? I don't get it. But the thing that caused me to actually want to do this episode is over the last few days, now we've had the gap in training camp, and the last sort of week of days, kind of between practice, like day number 3 or 4 and 10, I keep hearing, every time a Georgia guy comes out, I keep hearing, how does it compare to being coached by Kirby Smart? Who cares whether it compares to being coached by Kirby Smart? I don't get it. Like, college is a completely different game. In college, there's more players. In college, these guys are fighting for a position. If Mike Tomlin babied his players like in college, they'd have a problem. They'd have a problem with guys getting respect. It's not the type of coach Mike Tomlin is. He's a player's coach. Maybe it's a Bill Belichick thing. But that's not really worked from him since he lost the GOAT of the NFL in Tom Brady. So I don't kind of get it. Also, why should Mike Tomlin have to baby the players? Why should he have to make things tougher? Now, great for Georgia. They've clearly got a fantastic program. Half the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles are from Georgia. We've got a heap of guys from there now. That's no knock on the program. If I was coaching college football, that's how I'd run it too. That's how you should run it for high school football. But Mike Tomlin is a professional coach in one of the most professional leagues in the world, in one of the most performing teams. I don't understand why we're sitting there in the media and asking questions around mainly, what I've seen out of a lot of beat reporters and stuff, why we're asking questions about what it compares. I don't think it really matters. A lot of those guys aren't even recovering Georgia. I don't understand it. I think it's disrespectful. It's like last year with the whole, is he going to go to coach college football? Is he going to coach on an NFL team? He said he's got the best job in the world. He mocks, even on the grilling and chilling with Gentry and Freeman, he mocked boosters. He's talked about this before. I think he even did it when he appeared at training camp on the All Things Covered podcast. But Mike Tomlin, let's have a think about that. First, 7 times. Second, 6 times. He's taken them to a Super Bowl. He's won an AFC championship game as well. Like when they lost, obviously, to the Green Bay Packers. I don't understand. He's clutched a winning season from the jaws of defeat in 2019. That team was still in the playoffs in the last week of the game. I can't understand it. He's a head coach with a win-loss record of 63.6%, almost 64%. He has a winning season this season. I think he ends up having the most winning seasons overall of all the teams as well, of all the players in the Hall of Fame, all the coaches in the Hall of Fame. His playoff record, people mock it, but it's 47%. It's not like it's 30% or 20%. I don't understand the criticism. Mike Tomlin and the Steelers deserve more respect. This team, and in fact, to the point that Daniel Jeremiah went on Rich Eisen in the last 24 hours, and because he's been at the training camp, which most of you will have seen if you've been watching training camp. He's on high. I'm keen to listen to his Move the Sticks podcast this week, see what he says about it. He's high on Pickett. He talks about the 2 things you need to be successful in this league: a quarterback, and clearly you need an elite quarterback. to win a Super Bowl. You need a quarterback, you need a pass rush. Steelers have Heisman, Steelers have TJ Watt, Steelers have Haywood. They're getting a guy in Kenny Pickett. He's getting all the practice reps. He talks about that. They're things we talk about on this channel all the time on Steelers Touchdown Under. But this is what he said. And I just thought it'd be interesting to play this quick piece of audio from the Rich Eisen show where he was on there today. Because we're all sitting, the media right now and the Pittsburgh Beat Writers are all sitting there asking, how's the training compared to Georgia college football training? This is what he had to say about the respect for Mike Tomlin.
Practice to show you what kind of respect he has. I got a text because I had tweeted that out. Mm-hmm. I got a text from a head coach in the SEC saying, "Can you call me?" I don't know what he wanted, so I called him when I got back to my hotel. "What's going on, coach?" He goes, "Hey, what's Tomlin doing? How you said it was really competitive. How so? What was he doing during practice? What was he saying?"
Love it.
I'm like, this shows you how respected that guy is.
Catch the Rich Eisen show every single day.
There you go. There you go. How respected Mike Tomlin is. And he gets asked in press conferences, "Are you going to college football?" His players get asked, how does it compare with college football? Who cares? The first 10 days of practice might not even compare to what Mike Tomlin's got in store. They hadn't even started deeply backs on backers drills. They hadn't done all their padded practices. I mean, it's a completely different ball game. Literally a completely different ball game. Like, look at the players. Look at the way Kenny Pickett talks about throwing people open. So I just think, even if you're someone that's like, yeah, but Matt, you know what? 16 seasons, only one Super Bowl. Not good enough. Standard is the standard. I'm sick of the Tomlinisms. I mean, I love Tomlinisms, but you're like, I'm sick of the Tomlinisms. And you do think that he should be on the hot seat. You're happy they didn't renew his contract, even though they were 2 years to go. I kind of get it. But we can't count this team out, a Mike Tomlin-led team out. We can't have them slated for finishing fourth. The odds don't show it. It doesn't make sense. It's not right now. It's never been statistically possible because he's not finished there. So if you're a little bit still on the fence about this team, there's the Mike Tomlin factor. Pure and simple. There's the Mike Tomlin factor. And this team are going places with Mike Tomlin. This is his team. There's no more Cowboys players, none of that. I don't think there was. Once you're the head coach for at least 2 seasons, you're the head coach, man. Like, that's what it is. Like, you pick those players. You can get rid of. There's something like, I was talking about this on the Mad Monday show this week. If you haven't caught it, go back and check that out. But we're talking about something like I think I heard 50 new players the other day when Wolf and Mike Prisuta were talking after training, the training camp session. 50 new players on a 90-man roster. Most it was definitely like 43 or 50. I don't remember which number exactly it was. But that's almost 50% of the roster, brand new this year. And look at the names. We've got Patrick Peterson, Allen Robinson. We drafted guys like Benton, Washington, Joey Porter Jr., Broderick Jones. All guys that are going to have a real say in the starting offense. Bring in a guy like Holcomb, who is probably one of the league's best number 2 inside linebackers, and he's going to be a decent number 1. We've got Levi Wallace back. He had a quiet, good year last year. So if you're not on the Mike Tomlin train and you're on the Steelers train, maybe be more open to Mike Tomlin. If you're on the Mike Tomlin train, hopefully what I've said is just music to your ears. And if you're somehow part of the media watching our show, we've had them tweet back at us before, stop asking about how does it compare to Georgia. I mean, come on. We didn't ask that about the Bama players in their heyday. Why are we asking that now? But with that, as always, go Steelers.